Do you want to tell us about the Embedding Excellence program?
The Embedding Excellence program was a great process to undertake because it involved a lot of reflection and looking at teaching and learning and strategies that we use. And quite clearly, when you looked at the data, it was very clear that student writing was an area of weakness here at the college, and it was great to be able to think about how can we improve that.
And how did identifying writing spark ideas for you about ways that you could improve it?
It really got me thinking about how I give students feedback and the sort of models or examples that I provide on what quality writing actually looks like.
The key thing has been all of us accepting responsibility for literacy skills within the school. So regardless of the area we teach in, the age of the child we teach, that actually it's everybody's job. So we've had a lot of conversations around that. One of the key things was engaging the reader. And so part of that is we've had a couple of staff go off and become trainers in a writing program, and then they've come back and worked with each of the staff in that particular area.
So can you tell me what's different about teaching and learning at the moment?
A great tool that we have in the classroom is the use of Google Docs. So that allows us to answer the teachers' questions so we can do it instantaneously. And as a result, the teachers can view what we're doing as a whole class. It doesn't matter on our size. So it aids the teacher in their ability to help everybody because they can see as we're typing in real time. And that means that if we're making mistakes or there's better ways to improve our writing, the teacher is able to then send us a message through the Google Doc and explain, hey, it'd probably be better if you worded this thesis statement this way as opposed to the way you've done it. And I think it's a major process and part of continuing our learning. Has the teacher been able to increase their focus on literacy because of this Google Doc? Yeah, I think it's been really important because with literacy, it's a process, you don't get it straight away. So I think it's great that through this we can have instant feedback and that the teachers can show us other examples, and then you're always just improving your literacy base from which to draw on when you're writing essays.
You puking, not patted magpie.
You impertinent, full-born gudgeon.
You rank, onion-eyed, mold what?
Hamish, can you explain what today's lesson was about?
Well, today we're learning about the Elizabethan era and Shakespeare and language, and we were just insulting each other using Shakespearean words, so words that Shakespeare penned himself.
Did you enjoy having an English lesson which wasn't all about writing necessarily?
Yeah, I really enjoy it, and I think everyone else also really enjoys doing some practical and really fun things in our learning.
Can you tell me about differentiation this morning?
Differentiation is really important. So this morning in my Year 7 class, I was practicing that through allowing the kids to use different avenues to form their ideas and representation of the novel that they're studying. So I gave them the option of whether they'd like to draw a representation, whether they'd like to rewrite something, all sorts of things so that they can enhance their own learning through how they learn best.
And so that differentiation also feeds into the idea of literacy and teaching literacy in your classes?
It certainly does, particularly with Shakespeare. The kids always find that a bit of a challenge. So I wanted to make a fun task with literacy this morning and do them practicing Shakespearean language to each other, and so that they're getting familiar with the type of language that was used, and then talking about how it's changed over time to how they speak now in class.
So Landon, do you want to tell me about how your teacher assesses you in class?
Our teacher assesses us in a very interesting way so we don't get bored and we're always constantly refreshed. For example, the Term 2 mapping investigation assignment, I think because it was real life, that's what kept it so interesting.
So there's a whole variety of different assessments that you've been doing?
Yeah, sometimes our teacher will assess us by giving us a skit, a presentation, a poem, or even a diary entry, and that way we have a variety of different options on how we like to perform or present our assignment.
What does it look like in a classroom if you're trying to improve assessment, for instance?
So some of the key things I think that we've focused on is improving formative assessment, seeking feedback from our students, but also giving good feedback to our students. Rather than focusing on the product at the end, placing more emphasis on the process as we go through and finding out from our students what they know and then what they need to know and then supporting them in that.
Hi Annie, could you tell us about what you were just learning about in class?
We were learning flat chat, which is a way of people communicating. Like if the teacher asks us a question and we all put our hands up. Some people don't get a turn. But in Flat Chat, she writes down questions on pieces of papers and everybody gets to answer the questions.
Tell me about Flat Chat.
If it's a flat chat, flat pieces of paper with the questions, the kids get to come around and can chat to each other. Today we did a flat chat activity. The kids went around to each table to write down what they already know about the topic that we're learning for history.
Yep.
It's a way of me gathering information for prior knowledge. It's a formative assessment strategy so that we can look at before children get to do the task. Students love to do it because it gives them the opportunity to get their ideas down. Sometimes in class when I'm just asking questions, they'll put their hand up. I don't get to answer all the questions and the kids are then wanting to say what they've got in their minds.
And do you find the students are very engaged doing this as opposed to other methods of formative assessment?
Absolutely engaged, they love it. And when I say to them today we're going to do a flat chat, they're super excited. We have certain little rules that they're so many at a different station so they get to not be squashed in and they can have a chance to freely write and express what they want to say. A lot of time we just jump into planning the curriculum and now we take those steps back to find out what they know so then I'm not doubling up and I'm not having children learn things that they already have knowledge of. We can go further.
So do you have any sort of personal triumphs or things that you've really, really liked about this program?
I think one of the things that I have found that's been incredibly successful has been adopting a no hands up policy for my maths group. We talked about it and as a class we discovered that some students are often sharing and others aren't. I'm a little bit afraid to, so we've had to change the culture within the classroom and using some of the formative assessment strategies that we learnt about in our professional development, using our little paddle pop sticks with names on it to pull out their names of students to answer questions, using the mini whiteboards where students will each have their own board and will write their answers and then contribute their answers through that. I think using some of those systems has really changed the way the maths groups work. I think some of the students who wouldn't have had a voice before now know that it's an expectation that they contribute and that that's a really safe environment to do that in.
I've tried to think about ways and improved ways and more engaging ways of bringing formative assessment into my classroom. So I've tried to introduce quite a few different strategies. One is the whiteboards, and the kids have enjoyed the whiteboards so far when we've used them, particularly in a group setting. I've also found Cahill website to be very helpful in engaging where students are at a particular time, and that then helps guide what you should recover and revision.
How have you found the process of the Embedding Excellence program in terms of professional dialogue, mentoring?
Mentoring has been great because I find that all of us here have helped each other with different ways to change our classroom dynamic and use different practices within our class, and we're sharing them and giving each other great ideas, and the kids are benefiting from that.
And did you find it a little bit daunting at first that you were going to collaborate with people about your teaching practice in the class?
Yeah, absolutely. I think it's a bit daunting when other people are coming to watch you and how you do things, because you immediately worry if you're doing something wrong or it's not being beneficial for the kids. But in reality, it's a bonus because you're getting your own sense of feedback from a peer, and that can only lead to positive things and positive changes in the classroom.